Okay, here's the promised video about the Three of Pentacles. Now, before we even interpret the symbols in the image, let's start with the basics. This card is the Three of Pentacles. You will see the face of the card in a moment, but first, a brief lesson. The odd numbers in a tarot deck usually have something to do with change or transformation. In the case of the number 3, it usually has to do with some sort of creative change or transformation. Now let's talk about pentacles. All 4 signs of the tarot are associated with one of the 4 elements. Pentacles, for instance, are associated with earth, and so pentacle cards have to do with tangibility, things that you can feel, touch, taste. So when you pair a 3 with pentacles, it's going to be about creating something tangible. So now we know a little something before we even take a deep dive into the symbolism on the card. Now let's talk about the face of the card. This is the original image from the 1909 Waite-Smith Tarot deck. Pause the video if you like and see if you can come up with your own interpretation based on what you know about the number 3 and pentacles. We have 3 people inside of what seems to be a large building made of stone. Let's talk about each person. First, let's focus on the person on the left. He seems to be a craftsman or artisan. Specifically, he seems to be a stonemason. Apart from the obvious fact that he's clearly working on a stone building, the artist has given us more to work with, and it's even deeper than you realize. Look at the tools in his hands. Now notice that he is standing on a bench. Finally, if you squint, you can see that he's wearing an apron. All 3 of these symbols combined tell us that not only is he a stonemason, but he is actually a member of the Freemasons. The Freemasons are an organization that started as a fraternal organization for stonemasons, but it has since evolved into a somewhat secretive organization that conspiracy theorists associate with the occult or a New World Order. Waite and Smith, the creator and artist behind the cards, were members of a secret organization with their own ties to the Freemasons, and so the association is clearly intentional. Let's take a look at the next person. This fool, the one wearing this weird-ass outfit, is an architect. How can we tell? Well, first of all, he's holding the plans for the building in his hands. But also, look at that weird-ass outfit. That top part is called a liripipe. And this outfit was traditionally worn by the professional classes. This outfit was also worn by nobility, and some people interpret him as a patron. But I think, in the context especially of what's going on, it makes more sense that he's the architect. Finally, let's take a look at the guy standing beside him. That guy is obviously a monk. He's a cleric. He may even be the abbot of the monastery. Either way, the fact that he's there tells us that this stone building is clearly a church. Finally, let's take a look at this section here. We see the pictorial representation of the 3 pentacles. They're arranged intentionally in a triangle. The triangle has significant meaning in both sciences and spirituality, and so the pentacles are arranged in that shape. In the middle of the triangle, you see that little cross inside of a circle? That's called the armed cross, and it has significant meaning in all matters esoteric. First of all, the armed cross not only has its Christian symbolism, but it's also associated with the intersection of the 4 elements of fire, earth, air, and water. Girl, this is the symbol of the avatar. Right below that, in another triangle, you see yet another armed cross, but this time it's in the middle of a blob, and that's not a blob, it's a rose actually. And that symbol, the armed cross in a rose, is the literal symbol of the Rosicrucians, another secretive organization that prides itself on its secrecy and has been the subject of many a conspiracy theory. The Freemasons are actually a spin-off of the Rosicrucians, and they have an armed cross in their book of symbols. So now that we know what all the symbols mean, what's the interpretation? Okay, hold on, because this is where it gets interesting. The number 3, as I stated before, is a very powerful number in numerology and divinity. Past, present, future, birth, life, death, beginning, middle, end, the Holy Trinity of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Now pair that with the Pentacles, which represent earth, surrounding the armed cross, which represents both heaven and earth, and you can start to get a sense of what's going on. The whole card is centered on the physical manifestation of what existed before only in the ether, on earth, as it is in heaven. So let me give my interpretation, and this is what I would say if I were doing a reading for someone. What we have here is an artisan, an architect, and a cleric, a trinity, if you will. For sure, they're a team, and this is a card about teamwork. The cleric represents the link between heaven and earth. He can speak to God, if you will. He can tap into the ether through revelation, and he was motivated to have a church built. He represents the esoteric nature of inspiration. Next, we have the architect. He represents reason and pragmatism. He is the one who takes the amorphous idea of a church and devises the plan on what it should look like and how it should be built. He has turned inspiration into a practical plan of action. And finally, we have the artisan. He has taken the plans and made the image on the paper come to life in stone. The artisan has just completed the work or is nearly finished. He has done the job asked. The inspiration, which became a plan, has now been realized by the artisan's hard work and craftsmanship. Now all that is left is the financial reward for a job well done. All 3 of them are a team, and it's through that teamwork that the church was finally built. And if you think about it, a church is a building meant to honor God, meant to honor the supreme being. One could argue that when you work together as a team to accomplish a goal, the result is also attributed to a higher power because you created a physical manifestation of an idea born in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. This may all sound crazy, but the people behind these cards really did put this much thought into each card. So, how does this card relate to you? Well, in an external sense, if you have an idea or job, creative or not, this card could be telling you to involve other people. It could be telling you to seek advice or to bring other people on board to make your dream a reality. In an internal sense, it could just represent the different parts of your brain that you need to tap into to make your dreams, creative or not, a reality. You need to listen to inspiration. You need to develop a practical plan on how to realize your dream. And then, ultimately, you need to get to work. Only then will you see your idea become a tangible reality and reap the financial and spiritual benefits from your realized inspiration. Whether it's external or internal, it's all about teamwork. I wanted to say that's what makes the dream work, but I'm better than that. So now it's your turn. Did this mean anything to you? Did you have another interpretation? Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on the 3 of Pentacles.